This video is for Geometry, Chapter 11, Lesson 2, on area of circles and sectors. So you should recall from previous years in math that the formula to find the area of a circle is pi times the radius squared. And if you wanted to find the area of a sector, which is a portion of a circle, such that it's kind of like a pizza slice or a slice of pie where there's a vertex that's at the center, and then you've got a portion of the circle, you just do the measure of the arc divided by 360 to get the fraction of the circle. So if you needed exactly a quarter of the circle, then you would do 90 degrees over 360, and that would give you 1/4, and then you just put the area formula in. So you end up doing a portion of the entire area, and that would give you the area of this sector. This formula gives you the area of the whole circle, and this gives you a fraction of the whole circle. So you're often asked to find the area of a circle given the radius. So you just do a pi times 8 squared, which is 64 pi. Then you'd use a calculator to get the decimal approximation. Which is 201.06, or 201 6/100. If we were in normal class, I would have you do this one on your own, so please pause the video and try it on your own just to make sure you get the main concept here. Notice that you're given the diameter this time is 10. On this one we were given that the radius is 8. Here the diameter is 10, but remember the formula needs the radius, so you'll have to find the radius before you start using the formula. So again, pause the video, try to find the area, and then turn it back on to check. So the radius is 5. And the area is 25 pi. So 25 pi is 78.54. So on number 3, you're given that the area is 13 and you need to find the radius of the circle. So we know A is 13 and A is equal to pi r squared. So you can substitute in 13 for the A. And then to solve that equation, you'll need to divide by pi first. And then take the square root. So the radius is equal to the square root of 13 over pi. Now technically when you solve a quadratic equation there should be plus or minus in your solution, but if we're looking for the radius of a circle, it's definitely a positive answer, so you can leave off the plus or minus. This is the exact form of the answer, and then we would like to get the decimal approximation for it, which can be a little tricky on the calculator, so you want to make sure that you have a couple choices. You could do the 13 divided by pi and get that number, and then take the square root of your previous answer. And on this calculator you do second answer. And so the exact answer is 2.03. You could try to do the calculation all at once by doing second square root 13 divided by pi. But you have to make sure that the 13 divided by pi is under the root, and your calculator might not be as sophisticated as this one, and you might need parentheses to do that. So you got to be careful with that. On this calculator that I showed you in a previous lesson. If we did it on here, it would be the square root, and then I would do a parenthesis 13 divided by pi parenthesis, just to make sure you've got it in there. It looks like this one will draw the root over the top, so maybe I could have gotten away without the parentheses, but so there's a couple options. Hopefully you can get your calculator to give you 2.03 so you know how to use it correctly. Alright, so here we're going to find the area of this sector, and there's no good math way of drawing a little symbol for sector. So sector CPD, the area of that sector is equal to the number of degrees in the central angle or the arc, so 80 over 360, and then the radius is 4, so this will be pi times 4 squared. So 80 over 360 could simplify to 8 over 36 times 16 pi, and 8 over 36 and 16 pi. If you had to do this problem without a calculator, here's one good strategy. You could make the 8 4 times 2, and the 16 4 times 4, and the pi. This comes into the top because that's really 16 pi over 1. And on the bottom, 36 is 4 times 9, and I could just do a 9, or I could do 3 times 3 to see if any other pieces might cancel out. Looks to be that only one factor of 4 from the top and the bottom will cancel, and so the final version, the simplified form of the answer is 32 pi over 9. And then type that into your calculator to see what you get, but it should be 11.17. All right, you're going to try number 5 on your own, and I will put the answers in. And then you can check to see if you can figure out how to get to those answers. So I believe that the area is 32 pi over 3. Or 33.51. And I did that with a similar method to number 5, so you should try that and make sure you get it, and email your teacher if you need some help with how to get that. Should be 60 over 360, and then times pi r squared. Just double checking to make sure I have it here. Yep, that should be right. All right, so you had already known how to find the area of a circle from previous classes, and so these next two problems are just kind of stepping up the difficulty level that is more appropriate for high school geometry. So in this problem, if I'm looking for the shaded area, I want to basically figure out the area of the circle and the triangle, and once you think a second about how you would get just the shaded area here. If I could find the area of the circle and I could find the area of the triangle, then I could subtract them to get the area of the shaded area. So the directions here are sketch a plan, show an expression with the formulas, substitute and simplify. So my plan is that the area I'm going to get by finding the area of the whole circle, and then I'm going to subtract the area of the triangle. And the formulas that I need to do that, for the circle are pi r squared, and for the triangle it's 1/2 the base times the height. So if I know the radius of the circle, I'm good here. And if I know the base and the height of the triangle, then I'll be able to do this. Now, the radius of the circle is clearly given, that's 6. But the dimensions of the triangle are not as clear, and you have to use your knowledge of the geometry of a circle in order to make sure you get that. Since this radius is 6, you should also know what this radius is, and this radius is, and therefore you should be able to find what the diameter is. So the radii of the circle are all equal, so this piece is 6 and this piece is 6, and so the whole thing is 12. So then that's all the pieces that I need. The base of the triangle is 12 and the height of the triangle is 6. So this will become 36 pi minus half of 12 is 6 times 6 is 36. Or you could do the 12 times the 6 first, which is 72, and then half of that is 36. So this is the exact form of the answer. I can't simplify it any more than that without using a calculator and getting a decimal approximation. And when I do the decimal approximation, I'll just do 36 pi minus 36. So 77 point. Now, I would like to write 0.9, but since this is a 7, I have to bump it up. So 100th more than 0.09 would be 1.0. All right, if we were in class, I would stop now and have you complete this problem on your own and circulate to help you. So you should pause the video and try it, and then check it here after you've paused it. So my plan for this is that I'm going to find the area of a rectangle, and then I'm going to subtract the area of 2 circles. I could say minus circle, or I can say minus 2 times the circle. Looks to be that the circles are the same size. So if you didn't pause it yet, pause it now and try it. All right, so it doesn't look like there's enough information given, because to find the area of a rectangle, you need to know the base and the height, and to find the area of the circle, you need to know the radius. Well, I got the radius. This 2 is because there are 2 circles, and the pi r squared is because that'll give you the area of 1 circle. Now the base and the height of the rectangle are kind of hidden in here. So if you know that the radius of the circle is 6, then that length is 6, this length is 6, this length is 6, and that length is 6. So it looks like I have 4 6s for the height of the rectangle. And then how many 6s for the width? There's 1 here and 1 here, so the width is 12. So then my area becomes the base, which is 12, times the height, which is 24, minus 2 times the radius, which is 6 squared. So 12 times 24, I don't know that one off the top of my head, 288. 6 squared is 36, and times 2 is 72 pi. So that is the exact form of the answer, and then the decimal approximation is 61.81. That's the decimal I got, and that 5 bumps that 0 up to 0.1. All right, good luck on the homework. It is out of the textbook. The answers will be posted, and I'm available for questions. Just email if you need help.